Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful day up here in upstate New York on Lake Ontario. I just want to take a couple of minutes and discuss some thoughts I had around your discussion question number 3 and 4. Um, the question regarding the future and how you might recruit and the effect it might have on the HR department obviously is a thought experiment. You certainly can't conject what the future is going to bring, but we can make some pretty educated guesses. One of the things that I think is a constant that we all agreed on is that technology obviously is going to play a big role in this process, amongst others. And one of the things that I would suggest to you is, and I mentioned this in some of my reactions to your posts, is I think that one of the things, and it's already there, is that the district and the schools need to present the best picture possible to candidates, because we all go to the internet to check out various employment opportunities and to see what really you can learn about a potential employer online in this contemporary age. So it's really important that the school and the district keep their websites up to date and portray themselves in the best light possible. Secondly, one of the things that I find intriguing about the whole idea around the use of the internet is the idea that really now your recruitment pool is globalized. You can obviously reach out to audiences that traditionally we were pretty much limited to in terms of geographic region or whatever to get most of our candidates from. Now you have an opportunity to recruit from wherever and to screen those potential candidates online and also through mediums like Skype or YouTube or whatever. So there's a whole new arena that's opening up for us. Couple of things to think about in terms of this whole recruitment process and how it's going to affect us in the future. And part of that is the privatization of education and school based new charters and so on. So there's going to be more competition for those really, really good candidates. The other thing that's looming on the horizon is the evolution of education into the online environment. And to some extent, you're already beginning to see that in pre-K through 12. It is really hitting hard in higher ed. There's a lot of pressure to go online with our courses, and also the competition from MOOCs and other places that people can obtain their education. If you're not familiar with MOOCs, look it up on Google or wherever, because in essence you can get a world-class education for free through the internet now. A couple of things also to think about is obviously the game is changing. Technology is going to affect it. You got to stay on top of it. That's one of the reasons why later in this course you're going to be required to Skype with a classmate. And if any of you want to do that with me with questions about an assignment or elaborations, feel free to use your Skype account to do that. But it's really important to be able to now use those types of resources in order to reach out to candidates. And also it can cut down on your recruitment costs in that you don't necessarily have to bring candidates to campus. You can have a face-to-face interview through synchronous communications like Skype. Discussion 4 was about your experiences interviewing or being an interviewer. And I think it's important to note that a lot of you have had experiences being part of interviewing committees. That's really important. That's where really the hiring process has evolved to is the use of committees over time. And part of that is to get the faculty, to get the hiring committee to have ownership in the successful candidate, to make sure that not only do they feel that they're part of the culture of the hiring, that is the committee, but also in the success of that candidate that comes on board. One of the things that I suggest to you is with committees, a couple things to be very circumspect about is one, training them beforehand about the legalities of questioning. What can you ask a candidate legally and not legally? And in one of your papers that one of your classmates is writing is essentially about that. But in a nutshell, things that sexual orientation, age, anything that could be construed as discriminatory, you can't ask, even marital status. So those are the types of things that you need to train your committee on so that they don't get caught in a legal situation. The other thing is if you use a committee, make sure that you're asking the same questions to each candidate. You obviously can elaborate and ask follow-up questions, but it's very important in terms of discrimination that that the same questions be asked of each candidate. It could be construed as a discriminatory practice if you do not do that. A couple things, reference checks. You need to make reference checks. It's part of a responsible hiring process, and if this isn't conducted, obviously it opens the organization up to liability if something goes wrong with a hire. Reference checks should be done on finalists. I wouldn't suggest doing all of that ahead of time. It's a lot of effort. There's a lot of telephone tag that goes on, and in terms of efficiency, I would follow up on references finalists. One of the things that I think is really important in the hiring process, especially for teachers, obviously, is to have them teach a lesson. Now, sometimes this is difficult to try to arrange logistically, but I would strongly suggest that you use classes, that you use summer school, and even have, if those options are not available to you, have the successful finalist candidates teach a lesson to the administrative or the committee. The reason I point that out is some people are great interviewers, but they really can't teach a lick. And the other flip side of that is there's some people who aren't great interviewers, but they are good teachers. So if you can kind of try to tease that out, I can remember a particular case in my experience where we knew that this young man had good teaching skills. We had heard that through various sources. He couldn't interview very well, but we did bring him in to teach a lesson in front of a fourth grade class, and he just lit up in front of a class. He was truly an excellent teacher. We hired him based on that experience and not his interview, and as a result, we got an excellent teacher. Couple things also in terms of interviewing that you need to be aware of is the halo effect. There is some research that suggests that we have a tendency to favor candidates who are like ourselves, and also that we make hiring decisions at least subconsciously within the first 15 seconds of an interview. And also I would caution you to make sure that you don't fall prey to, the last interview being the standard. You have to try to stay as objective through the whole process as you can, and that's sometimes very difficult. A couple of things that I also would suggest to you is I, over the time, have learned to trust my gut when it comes to hiring and never to short circuit that process. There's been times when you're going to be tempted to try to hire somebody. because it's easy, because the pool is not very wide and deep. But I would say to you that these are the most important decisions you make, is who you hire. You bring these people into your school. They are become part of the culture. It's very important to get the best that you can. So take your time and do the best possible job you can. If you have to reopen a search, do it. With that, have a great weekend. I know that you'll be working on your midterms, and good luck with that. We're just about halfway through, so we've got some work to do, but we're getting there.